Hello, welcome to Đồng Nai Radio and Television Station. Here comes the news today. Recently, the World Bank has announced the Vietnam macroeconomic update, in which the economic recovery of Vietnam is still continuing. The World Bank report showed that in July, Vietnam's economy continued to recover with domestic manufacturing, processing and retail sales increasing by 2.1% and 4.6% respectively compared to the same period last year. The total export turnover in July remained stable at the same level in the same period in 2019, demonstrating resilience in the context of stagnant international activities. According to the World Bank, Vietnam's economic recovery in the coming time will be affected by the emergence of a new COVID-19 infection in the community. However, the negative impact of the pandemic is somewhat mitigated as the government has been making efforts to speed up the implementation of public investment programs, especially in localities. The COVID-19 outbreak in Da Nang has been gradually controlled. This information is at the online meeting of the standing government with the ministries, branches and 15 localities coping with the COVID-19 pandemic just held on August the 12th, chaired by Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc. According to the Ministry of Health, the outbreak in Da Nang has been gradually controlled. The recently discovered cases are mostly those in the block hospitals and F1 cases have been quarantined. However, in the coming time, it is possible to continue to appear cases of disease scattered in the community. At the meeting, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc evaluated ministries, branches and localities had actively implemented pandemic prevention. Some places with outbreaks have implemented effective social distance, in which except Da Nang implemented the gap under Directive 16. Localities implemented social gap but still ensured the dual goal of promoting disease prevention and maintain production and business. Prime Minister said that this is a necessary direction, not excessively. Production and business activities are relatively stable, not closed, and have no difficulties in operation. The Prime Minister also said that, unlike the 17th case in the previous pandemic, people were calmer this time. The local authorities and the health sector directed more methodically. Market conditions, stable prices, no speculation, hoarding and scarcity of goods occurred. Prime Minister noted that the period from this week to the middle of the next week is a time of concern. Ministries, branches and localities need to draw lessons from the last pandemic and drastically apply anti-pandemic measures to successfully fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. A Lebanese prosecutor will question several ministers and former ministers over last week's deadly chemical blast at Beirut port, a judicial official said Wednesday. The interrogations will begin with former Public Works Minister Ghazi al-Aridi, the official said, speaking on condition of anonymity. If a shortcoming of negligence on the part of one of the questioned ministers is found, the judiciary will have to say that it does not have jurisdiction to sue them, the official explained. The chief prosecutor will then have to transfer the file and connected evidence to Parliament because the jurisdiction lies with the very special counsel in charge of suing ministers and presidents. On the same day, Lebanese President Michael Aoun announced that the Port of Beirut explosion on April the 4th caused more than $15 billion in damage. Meanwhile, according to the latest statistics of the Ministry of Health of Lebanon, there are 171 people dead, about 6,500 injured, and 300,000 people falling into the sea. The sun shines on the ground. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization on August the 12th said more than half of the medical facilities in the capital Beirut could not operate after the explosion. Among these are 3 major hospitals. In addition, 3 hospitals are operating below normal capacity, having to reduce 500 to 600 beds. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on August the 12th that police had to determine the cause of the train derailment that killed 3 people in Scotland to avoid similar accidents occurring in the future. Police received information on a train derailment near Stonehaven, about 15 kilometers south of Aberdeen at 9:43 a.m. local time. According to BBC, the train had problems with 2 tractors and 4 passengers compartments. When the accident happened, the front tractor and 3 compartments jumped off the track and was next to the river bank. That's all for the news today. Thank you for joining us and goodbye.